Doing this made the gods laugh at me, and they were like, ha ha ha, you are moving all of your cubbies because you think you have a set roster. Wouldn't it be a shame if all of a sudden you have a new student? Good morning, YouTube. It is Monday, September 30th, I think. Let's see. It is. It's Monday, September 30th. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Tina, the Teacup Teacher. I am a third year, 5th grade teacher on the coast of Maine. And if you are not new here, you know it's been about a month since I've posted, which isn't like me. I have just been adjusting, to say the least. I have a larger class this year. I started grad school. I'm on like a very large amount of school committees and district committees, and I'm team leader this year, and it's a lot, and I'm learning to balance it. But like, it's weird though, because I don't bring home any work, like at all. So it's just when I get home, I'm so mentally exhausted that I just want to sit on the couch and I don't want to do anything, which means that there's no editing going on. So I have been vlogging like crazy. It's just getting it edited and posted for you guys. But it is currently 6:30. I'm going to stop and pick up some decaf tea at Dunkin' because I did take pre-workout this morning, and if you're familiar with that, you know that it is a large amount of caffeine, and I don't really want to dump more caffeine on top of that because as it is, I get really like jittery and antsy when I take pre-workout. So I'm just gonna get decaf tea. Or decaf, no, I'm gonna go with decaf tea. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So there is that. I'm gonna head to work, and I will kind of update you guys on everything that's been going on when I get there and what we plan on doing today. So stay tuned. It is a crazy week. We have outdoor science day this week if it doesn't rain, fingers crossed, and we also have a field trip on Friday. So there's that. So I'm gonna hit the road, and I will talk to you when I get to work. So 11 months ago, and it was pretty much right around, oh, my poster fell. It was pretty much like right around Halloween. I bought these like long skinny baskets at Rite Aid. They were $2 for $1. They were on clearance and they were 50% off. So I got 2 baskets for 50 cents and I was gonna use them for my schedule cards. Well, I could have sworn I brought them in the house and I didn't. And after looking for them for like a month, I figured that they just accidentally got thrown out somehow, which isn't like me. I'm not the kind to like just lose stuff. So I just chalked it up as a loss. It was 50 cents, whatever. I was just really happy that they were white. So that part sucked. However, when I was cleaning out, if you've been, backtrack for a second. If you've been following me for a while, you know that in December, the day after Christmas, I purchased a new car. Well, a new to me car. So I was cleaning out my old car today because it is finally getting donated, which completely breaks my heart. But I am donating it today and they're picking it up. So yesterday I was cleaning it out, and in the back I have this like this utility basket type thing for storing stuff that you may need. So I kept jumper cables in there. My car didn't leak antifreeze, but I always kept a bottle of antifreeze on me anyway because it had 210,000 miles. So just, you never know. And I kept wiper fluid in there and an extra quart of oil, like all of your stuff. Well, I'm like, huh, there's a little bag in there. What do I find? My baskets. So I brought them in. I don't know what I'm actually gonna use them for, but I was super excited about that because I was looking for these, and I have still, every time I go to change my schedule cards, like I still find myself wondering where they went because they had just disappeared. They didn't disappear. I just put them in the utility basket like a fool, and I probably did that so they didn't get crushed or broken in the back of my car, but I forgot they were there. But anyway, at Walmart this weekend, I found a hole punch for $3. It was in the clearance section and it was the only one left, and I took it because we need another one. I have 2 that the students can use. I have one at my desk that I use, but we could definitely use an extra. So I did purchase this, and like I said, it was $3. I think the thing said it was normally $9, so that's a pretty good deal. I'll take it. And it's swing line. It says jam free guaranteed, and it has 20 sheet capacity, so I'm pretty stoked about that. But I'm also really easily amused, so that's probably why. But oh, that's so cool. Oh, it's so pretty. Maybe I'll just keep this one for me and I'll give them mine. I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna end up happening because, oh, it even, oh, what? It locks. What on earth? Oh my Lanta, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm keeping this one for me and they're getting the other one. Yeah, this is mine. Because I can hole punch all of their papers at once if I forget to when I copy it. It's definitely, that's mine. I'm keeping that one. They can have mine that is right here and it works perfectly fine. So that's fine. They'll just have 3 of them now. So there's that. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Okay. And I also brought in this giant tub right here, which you can't, I dragged it into frame, but you still can't see it. My lunchbox is currently on top of it. But it's a giant tray that I purchased when I was moving to Alaska because I shipped a bunch of Tupperware containers. I got this at BJ's, I believe. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see, I can already tell, oh, it might actually fit on the shelf. I'm gonna see if it's gonna fit on the shelf. And if not, I'm going to put all of my contraptions blocks in here because, well, I don't like the box that they're currently in. That did nothing. Happy Monday, folks. So yeah, there's that. I am gonna go work on stuff. I do have to print some stuff off for today. My printer at home just like decided it didn't want to connect to the internet. And I'm pretty tech savvy because I grew up with a father who worked in IT since I was a child. So I've literally owned my own computer since I was like 3rd grade, 4th grade. So I'm really good with computers, especially Apple. But I just didn't feel like fixing it. And I was like, I'll save my HP Instant Ink and I will just print it at work. So that's what I have to do this morning. So I'm gonna go work on that and I will talk to you guys once I kind of get everything run off and I can show you what we're actually doing today. Hello, friends. Ooh, my mug's falling apart. Hold on one second. Oh, there. It's good enough, whatever, it'll work. So I got all of our copies ran off. I got our Scholastic book order out, which I'm super excited. They didn't do Scholastic last year in 4th grade, so I don't know if it's just the excitement of having it, but like the orders just kept rolling in. So I'm excited because we earned free money to spend. I love Scholastic. Like, I am legit obsessed with their program because while I purchase a lot of books at Goodwill, I also get a lot of free books through Scholastic just between their, like, earn the $10 to spend right now. You also get a free pack of 5 books if you spend over a certain amount, and then you get bonus points that you can apply to books. Alright, I don't really remember where I was. I love where I work, but like when I get here in the morning, I just want to work, and people come in and they just sit at my table and just talk to me, and morning time here is not like my social hour. I save that for lunch. So it's just like, I have work to do and I love you, but get out of my room. So I realized that I somehow didn't plan ELA for this week, which is crazy because I thought I had planned everything. So I'm thinking that either I didn't save it in Plan Book, like I somehow got logged out and didn't like realize I need to log back in to save it, or I don't know. But I am going to figure out what we're going to do. It's just a review week because we likely have Outdoor Science Day on Wednesday pending weather, and then on Friday we have a field trip. So we're definitely not starting anything new. I think I may just review some topics that we have. Thank you so much. So I think we may just review some topics that we've already covered, like kinds of sentences, and we've talked about tall tales, hyperboles. We've talked about other stuff. I don't remember what right now. But I think we are going to work on capitalization because my kids do not capitalize anything and I don't know why. It's so weird. But I am going to show you how I use Plan Book, and I'm going to show you how I've set up our spelling and vocabulary this year. First things first, focus. There we go. This is how I use Plan Book. So today we are going to multiply by tens, hundreds, thousands. That's supposed to be thousands and more, but whatever. This is only for me. So this is just kind of to guide my direct instruction. It's a loose plan, but it's just examples in case like I have a brain fart or anything. And here I put our independent practice. So this is the worksheet that they're going to do. If there is a worksheet, I'm not a huge fan of worksheets. And these are the standards that we are covering. So I can directly relay these to our school's learning targets, or our district's learning targets. That's our math review for today. Since it's been so long that I've talked to you guys, I'm going to kind of fill you in real quick on a couple of things that I'm doing a little bit differently this year, just simply because we weren't supposed to have planners. I told my principal we didn't want them and she ordered them for us anyway, but I already had the system in mind and I actually love it so much more than the planners. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing. This year I'm doing something called Gentle Reminders, and then I send this home and it just says for the week of, and then I put anything important that the parents need to know. For example, we have Outdoor Science Day with a rain date of 10/9, and then we have a field trip to, that's supposed to be Farnsworth. Oh my Lanta, I'm gonna have to reprint these. Anyway, I also put any important upcoming dates for this week or the following week down here, and then the students write their homework in each day. So for example, I need to print off their math moves. Any math moves or scholastic or anything that we have to do, if they have life skills homework, anything goes right on this paper and this gets put in their folder. This is what I send home and this stays in the students' folders. They have these communication folders that we send home with each of them. I need to create a new sheet for that one of my students. Her mom emailed me that an animal had an accident on her. So I said, don't worry about it. We'll just send you a new one. So yeah, there is that. I didn't print these off with the correct spelling of the art museum. And then for ELA, I did switch up our spelling and vocabulary this year. So I'm not pulling it from Reading Street right now. I'm supplementing with Greek and Latin roots. So our root this week is cred and our prefix is d and dis. So they need to know how to spell the words in bold, and they also need to know the definition. This way, they are not, like previously I felt like they were spelling words, they didn't even know what they meant. So now, not only can they apply these things to real life words, but it's also words that they know how to spell and they know what they mean. So that is something new that I'm doing this year. And so far I am absolutely loving it. It is a lot more prep because it's not from my reading curriculum right now, but so far I am loving this. And it's only week 3, so I will let you know how it goes. But right now, this is the best thing I've done all year. For math homework this year, I am using, this is from Fun in Room B. I will link this down below. This is grade 5 for Math Moves. So their homework Monday is to do 1 through 4, Tuesday 5 through 8, Wednesday 9 through 12, and then Thursday 13 through 16, and then we go over this on Friday. We do review it each day, but we really just kind of dive into it on Friday. So I just like this because it's a spiral review. It gets a little bit harder each week, but it's building on skills that they should already have. And then because we're reviewing each problem, we're continuing to build on it week to week. So even if we're not hitting these standards and I'm not teaching that lesson, they are still learning the skills so that when we get to it, it's already covered and they have the basics. So I am absolutely loving this. I started this at the end of last year, and then I switched to it full-time this year, and also pretty awesome. This is their only homework that they have each week. However, every other week I do send home life skills homework, which I'm going to show you next. Their life skills homework this week was emergency phone number. Ask an adult what phone number you should have memorized in the event that there's ever an emergency. You should also know their name. So then it asks them to fill in their contact name and their phone number. And then it says, can you recall the name and number without looking at it? If not, practice this week so you are able to remember in the event of emergency. Be sure to practice your home address too. And then this week, I am going to review this skill with them, mark this off, and send it home. With that being said, life skills homework may be something like holding the door for somebody behind you when you're walking into the store, or washing dishes, or it may be practice a simple recipe, or just ask somebody how their day is and truly listen. So it's a lot more social skills than anything. They do need to know this, and I've noticed a lot of my kids don't. So we started with this, but it's going to be more social skills than anything, and just those basic skills that kids should know but don't know. Hello friends, clearly I am now home, and what a day it was today. It wasn't a bad day, it was just a whirlwind of a day. So my students came in and we had our morning meeting, and I don't know if I had told you guys, but I told myself that I was having my students shift all of their cubbies over to, that way I could put my emergency go bag right by the door where it's supposed to be. So no big deal, like all is well. So we had math, and then that lesson kind of went so-so. It definitely wasn't my best math lesson. I mean, eventually, like once I gave them the worksheet, they kind of understood what was being asked, but I need to go back and teach them the why, because I noticed that they're not understanding why we're doing what we're doing. And I don't want my kids just to memorize stuff. Like I want them to understand that it has a true purpose. So we're going to work on that. However, after math, Around 10:15 we had snack. Right after snack, I took about 10 minutes and I had my students one by one move their cubbies over too. Doing this made the gods laugh at me and they were like, ha ha ha, you are moving all of your cubbies because you think you have a set roster. Wouldn't it be a shame if all of a sudden you have a new student? So I am not exaggerating when I say no more than 30 seconds after my last student shifts all of their stuff from their cubby 2 cubbies over, my principal walks in and tells me that I now have a new student. And then after that, of course, my students are just highly emotional, they're impulsive. This is a lot for them to process, I can tell. And of course, surprise observation this afternoon. So I had to completely scrap what I was doing because while she's sitting there, my kids are just calling out and they're impulsive and they're just goofing off. And I'm like, all right, like your iPads are going away. And I even told them, I said, you guys are not prepared to handle this at this moment. We will try it another day. I need to put your iPads away, sit down, get your ELA binders out. And I kind of took the lesson from there. But like, I'm gonna do a vlog all on how to prepare for observations. And one of my biggest takeaways that I've learned from observations in my whopping 3 years of teaching is you may have a plan, but honestly, like just because it's planned, it doesn't mean you should stick with it. I completely scrapped today's plans and just went with the flow because it's what my kids needed. So you need to read your room and understand that yes, it may seem like the better idea because you already have everything planned and scripted, you know what you're gonna do, but sometimes that's not what your kids need. So learn your children, read the room, and do not be afraid to stray from your plans because that has saved my butt, and it especially saved my butt today because I could tell I was losing them and no amount of classroom management would have brought them back, except the fact that I knew that they just needed something different. So I changed gears and we did a completely different activity, and guess what? They rocked it. So there's my little advice for the day. I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna work on some grad school work and watch some Friends or The Office. I can guarantee one of the two is on. I'm gonna watch those. And I'm gonna let my dogs out and then I'm going to bed so I can wake up at 4:30 to go to the gym and just do it all over again tomorrow. So I will see you guys in the morning. Good morning, YouTube. It is Tuesday, October 1st. I cannot believe that it's October already. Like, where has time even gone? But it is October 1st and we are struggling to log into our computer this morning. Today, my new child starts today, so fingers crossed that that goes well. I'm a little bit nervous, but that's okay. Everything will be great. So today, I taught yesterday multiplying by the powers of 10, and I taught them a way that was in our book, and it did not go well. I intended to move on to dividing by the powers of 10 today. They're not there. They're not, I need my chapstick. I left my Hydro Flask at home yesterday, so I didn't drink any water while I was at school. My lips are so chapped from it today. I'm really sensitive to water intake, so that just wasn't good. But anyway, there's a couple things out of place. They must have like really deep cleaned, like really mopped my room yesterday. But anyway, so sorry, I was parent on Class Dojo. So I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, it did not go well. So I don't think we're quite ready to move on. I'm gonna spend one more day on it and just kind of reinforce the thing. Like, they understood the movement of the place value. They didn't understand why. So I don't want them just to memorize what you do. Like, I want it to have an application. I want them to understand why we're doing what we're doing. But I also want them to practice the skill. So we're gonna do that today because they just weren't getting it yesterday, and that's okay. So far, they've gotten everything else that I've thrown at them, and it's all right. It's bound to happen. They're not going to understand something, and it could have been my approach to it more so than them not just getting it. So I am fine with spending one more day on it, but I think that's all we're gonna do. So fingers crossed I can kind of change my approach today, and then they'll get it. We'll see. I can do this. Welcome to the life of a teacher. So I'm gonna enjoy my tea and try to wake up. I took pre-workout this morning when I went to the gym, and I can honestly say I still am really tired, which goes to show that should have stayed in bed this morning, but that's all right. I am here and I am ready because I love my job. I love my students. I love my school. So it's gonna be a good day. So I'm gonna keep telling myself it's gonna be a fantastic day. And I will talk to you guys a little bit later once I figure out what we're doing today. So what an interesting day today was. But I cannot wait to tell you guys all about my inferencing lesson tomorrow. Like, I am still on a high from how well that lesson went, but I am done talking to you guys because it's just literally like, there's a TV screen, is that one. That's my little camera screen right there, and that is my laptop screen right there. So I'm gonna go and I will see you guys in the morning. I have to sit here and plan because our outdoor science day got canceled, so I more just kind of need to tweak things and move some stuff around, but I'm already planned. So I'm gonna go work on that, and I will talk to you guys first thing in the morning. Good morning, YouTube. It is Wednesday, October 2nd, and today I actually have to teach. We were supposed to have outdoor science day, but it's kind of crummy outside. So we rescheduled it for our rain date for next week, which means that I have to teach today, and I'm so excited because I love teaching and I hate interruptions. And although outdoor science day is like super beneficial, it's just nice to kind of jump right back into things today. So I told you last night that I was going to share with you my lesson that I did for inferencing yesterday because it was amazing. Last year when I taught inferencing, I immediately jumped into it with literature, and my kids just weren't really understanding that you're applying just things that you know about the outside world with things that you see right there on the page. So they weren't getting that. So I had an epiphany at like 3:30 in the morning to do it with pictures instead. So then I started going online. Once I got to work, I hopped online and I started going through just some pictures for websites. I usually use Nat Geo, but unfortunately it doesn't always involve people, and I wanted this to involve people. So, I hate spam emails. So anyway, I came across the New York Times runs a section. Let me pull it up so I can tell you the correct name. By the New York Times, it's called What's Going On in This Picture. I'm actually gonna just post the photo in this vlog. And like I said, this came from the New York Times. It was in their top 40 photos section. And as you can see, there's a man, a woman, and a child. There's yellow caution tape. They're at a beach or some body of water. There's a pier. There are men wearing gloves, and they have plastic of some sort. We don't know if they're tarps. We don't know if they're plastic bags. There's just a lot going on. You can see the gentleman is hanging over the caution tape taking pictures. And when I was talking about everything that you see right there with my students, a lot of them kept saying it's a family. The family is taking pictures. The dad's taking pictures. And I was like, that there, my friends, is an inference. We don't know that that is a family, but we can assume that it is because it's a man, a woman, and a child. But that could be a mom, a child, and a boyfriend, or a dad, a child, and a girlfriend, or they could be aunt and uncle, and they're just taking the kid to the beach. Like, and I said, but from what you know about the world, you know that that is probably a family. And that is an inference that you can make. We said that it looked like they may be picking up trash, and they came up with the inference that clearly it's not like a crime scene because the mom probably wouldn't be pointing stuff out and all of those things. So we just we spent about 2 or 3 minutes talking about everything that was right there, everything we could see that we knew for fact, and then we spent a couple minutes coming up with inferences. So after that, their guided practice, I printed off on poster board 5 other images. It was upside down. 5 other images from New York Times. So there's one. And I won't show you the other 3 because it's taking too long. But I had them go around, and they came up. I gave them 60 seconds to silently look at the photo as a group. There were 5 groups, or 5 photos, so there was about 4 people in each group, so they had plenty of time to kind of pass it around and look at it. I gave them 60 seconds to silently observe. I gave them 60 seconds to talk about all of their right there things, all of the things that you can see. And then I gave them 2 minutes to develop an inference as a group and write it down on the paper. Now, the fun part was I had a lot of kids say like, oh, I can't come up with an inference, but I know she's not at a funeral. And I kind of was like, well, that's an interesting observation. What makes you say that? And they're like, well, she looks really happy. There are a lot of people in black, which people wear black to funerals. And one of the kids goes, yeah, but there's people taking pictures, so we know it's not a funeral. And I was like, that right there, my friends, is an inference. You can infer that they are not at a funeral simply because they're taking pictures. They don't look very unhappy. Like, you don't typically, from what, and I said some of you may not have ever been to a funeral, but from what little you know about the world, you know that there usually aren't people taking pictures at a funeral like that. So it was just a really awesome conversation, and they got inferencing. I have been talking to you forever, mainly because I was talking about that inferencing, but I have a couple messages I need to get back to on Class Dojo, and then I need to get some other things done. So, as lovely as it's been talking to you, I will catch up with you guys later. Good morning, YouTube. It is Thursday, October, I think it's the 3rd. It is the 3rd, and I am wearing a coat because it is that cold outside. It is 32 degrees, I believe. That's what it was when I woke up, at least. I'm sure it's probably like 34-ish now, if I had to guess. But it is chilly, but that's life in Maine, and I just keep telling myself that even here it's warmer than where I taught in Alaska, so I will take this. Okay, so yeah, yesterday I did not vlog for you guys after school because whew, what a day it was. I had a student push and punch another. So it happened when I wasn't with them. I was at lunch and we had indoor recess, and apparently that's when it happened. And that apparently is when the incident occurred. I don't know. I wasn't there. I was on my lunch break. So I came back from lunch and my principal came and told me, and she's like, you don't have so-and-so, the student punched another, etc. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So came back to class, my students had guidance lesson, and then she comes and grabs me in the middle of the guidance lesson. She's like, I need you to talk to him because he won't really talk to me. So I spent about an hour kind of talking things through with him, and then I had to message the mom, and I let her know that, you know, when I was in 5th grade, I was a wonderful child, but when I was in 5th grade, I was a nightmare. So I was so bad in 5th grade that my parents were like one issue away from enrolling me in military school because they were just so fed up with me. Love you, Mom and Dad, and I'm so glad you did it. I'm so glad you just gave me another chance. But it's a trying age for kids, and I don't know what it is about 5th grade, but they are just, oh man. My boyfriend and I are dealing with it. His son is in 5th grade, and we are having a lot of problems, and it's just, they're at that age, and I don't know what it is about being 10 years old, turning 11, but it's like you forget how you're supposed to behave and how you're expected to, you know, be. But that's okay. But anyway, so yesterday I had a super awesome science introduction lesson. So what I did was I used my IKEA frames, and I just put these numbers on them. It's on either side. They keep dropping them, but anyway. So I put those around the room. There were 4 total because we started our spheres yesterday. So our biosphere, hydrosphere, geosphere, and atmosphere. So I put things from each sphere at each station. So like station 1, for example, if it was biosphere, I put a picture of my dogs, and I let the kids know it was the dogs, nothing else in the picture, just the dogs, and I put some of my plants in that same section. For hydrosphere, I put a cup of water, and then I put pictures of a river, pictures of a glacier, snow, and the ocean. So I don't even know if you can see those because I kind of can't see the camera when I hold those up. But that was for hydrosphere. For atmosphere, I held up the layers of the atmosphere, and then I also held up a photo of a sunset and some clouds. And then at another station, I put at the geosphere, oh, I almost just knocked it over. At the geosphere station, I put a cup of rocks. Yeah, I put a cup of rocks and then a cup of dirt from outside. And I had the students go around with this paper that I just threw together literally in like 30 seconds yesterday, and it just says observations. And then it just says, what do they all have in common? Write your answers in complete sentences in the box. So this was station 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they had to go to each of the 4 frames, and they could rotate willy-nilly because they were being pulled out for bands, so it just kind of worked out perfectly. But they were able to wander from station to station and take a guess as to what they think had in common. And from what I can see, only one student got that the dogs and the plants were both living things. So today we're going to kind of delve into the different spheres and what the roots mean, because we are working on Greek and Latin roots this year. So I'm just going to show them like, hey, if you knew what these were already, like, you probably would have figured it out, but that's okay. So it just kind of reinforces that importance of Greek and Latin roots, because they are amazing. They still help me to this day. I had a teacher in high school that made us learn them all, and I'm so glad he did. I'm going to get to work and just make sure that everything is ready to go for today. I'm going to print my plans off from Planbook, and then I'm going to sit here, drink my tea, and just kind of relax until the day starts. And I will check in with you guys at some point. It won't be after school because I do have a meeting that I have to run to immediately after. I actually have to leave a couple minutes early for a district meeting, but it's in my hometown, which is nice because then I can just go home right after, and I'm like a mile from my house. So there's that. I'm gonna go, and I will talk to you guys in a little bit. Good morning, YouTube. It is Friday, October 4th, and it is field trip day. And if I don't sound excited, it's because I'm not. I am exhausted. I don't know why I'm so tired today. My little sleep quality app that I use says that it was 100% sleep quality. I don't know where I was with that, but I am exhausted. So I treated myself to a donut today from Dunkin' Donuts because it is that kind of day. I think I'm gonna have a kid that is not going on the field trip because they didn't bring in a permission form, which I have told the child multiple times. I sent them home. I sent the permission forms home over a week ago. Sent home an extra last night. And I doubt that I'm gonna get it returned, so I do need to come up with a game plan for work for him to do just in case, because unfortunately it's one of those too bad so sad situations. They're just unorganized and we'll leave it at that. So I need to come up with a couple things. I think I'm just gonna pull pages from a math workbook and from our Reading Street curriculum and just go with that, because like, you didn't bring the form, you don't get to go on the trip. And on top of that, it's that we have 2 forms that we have to fill out, one for our school and then this one for the museum that we're going to. So it's not like we can even be like, oh, we'll call your dad and ask. Like, no, the museum needs the form. So I tried, I really did. I can only do so much. So I have to go and make sure that he has work to do. But other than that, I am planned and prepped. It is 8 o'clock and I only got here like maybe 5-10 minutes ago. We don't have to arrive until 8:10 on Fridays, which is super nice. So I am gonna go pull that stuff and then just sit here and eat my donut and peruse Instagram probably, because I have nothing else to do. Hello, so I know this isn't the best lighting, but we are back from our field trip and it was absolutely wonderful. Every time that I get a gift or a parent helps or anything, I immediately come back and I write thank you notes. You can get these for $1 in the Target dollar spot. These I think are from I think they're from Dollar Tree, but they come to 6 to 8 in a pack, and I believe in handwritten notes more so than an email or a class dojo message. And then I hand letter, which I'll turn this around and show you because the lighting is terrible. I hand letter their names on it, and I think it's so funny that every time I do this, my kids will be like, did you order envelopes with our parents' names before the school year? And I'm like, no guys, like I do this by hand. I mean, if you look closely, you can see it's far from perfect, and I mean far from perfect, but at a distance, it looks half decent. Like, I mean, that's not terrible, it's not perfect, but it gets the job done. I always take the time to write a handwritten note. I had a parent sending cookies randomly last week for no reason when I wasn't here. So we did a note. Sometimes I'll have the kids sign it. Sometimes it's just for me. In this case, just because we don't have time, because it's already 2:20. My kids are in specials and they get picked up right at dismissal. So I am just going to fill the card out and send it home. This child already left with her mom, so she'll just take it home on Monday, and this will go home today.